Most people look at their garden in July and see a finished project. The tomatoes are in, something is climbing the fence, the beds are full, and that quiet assumption settles in that the planting season is basically done. Maybe next April, maybe a fall cleanup, but for now, finished. That assumption costs a lot of fresh food. July soil is the warmest it gets all year. A seed that needed 2 weeks to crack open in April will push through in 4 or 5 days right now. And there are vegetables that are not just okay to plant this month. They are specifically better when planted in July. Sweeter, more productive, less stressed by pests that peaked 2 months ago. 10 of them. Let's go through every one. Number 1. Cucumbers. By mid-July, most spring-planted cucumber vines are done. Powdery mildew has worked through the leaves, the older vines are slowing down, and production is tapering off. Most gardeners accept that and move on. A second planting right now changes what September looks like. July soil germinates cucumber seeds in 4 to 6 days, faster than any spring planting. A fresh plant that goes in today hits its productive peak in September, when the worst of the summer heat has broken, and cooler nights make cucumbers noticeably crisper and cleaner tasting than anything produced in July. Most varieties go from seed to harvest in 60 to 70 days. Plant this week, fresh cucumbers on your counter by mid-September. One thing that separates productive July cucumbers from struggling ones: get them off the ground. A trellis, a fence panel, bamboo tied together, anything vertical. Vines lying on soil sit in stagnant, humid air. Powdery mildew loves that. Vertical vines get airflow around every leaf, the disease can't get a hold, and the fruit hangs in open space where you can actually find it before it turns bitter and oversized. Number 2. Zucchini. The squash vine borer kills more American zucchini plants than any disease or drought. The moth lays eggs at the base of the stem through late May and June. The larvae tunnel into the vine from inside. The plant collapses fast, it looks like something went wrong with the roots or the soil, and most gardeners never figure out it was a pest. In zones 5, 6, and 7, most of the northern and midwestern United States, that moth completes its main egg-laying cycle by late June or early July. A zucchini plant that goes in the ground now misses that window entirely. The larvae that would have killed a spring plant are already gone by the time a July plant is large enough to be a target. Seeds germinate in 4 to 7 days in warm summer soil. First fruit appears around 40 to 50 days in. Harvest at 6 to 8 inches. Every time you pick at that size, the plant pushes out 2 more. Leave one to grow past that and production slows noticeably, while the plant directs energy into a single oversized fruit. Southern gardeners in Zone 8 and warmer, vine borers in your region can cycle twice per year. Row covers over young plants for the first 3 weeks, take care of the second generation the same way timing takes care of it up north. Number 3. Bush beans. One planting of bush beans in May gives you 1 harvest period. That's how most American gardeners use them, and it works fine. What they're missing is the September harvest. Bush beans sown in July germinate in 8 to 10 days in warm soil and reach harvest in 50 to 55 days. That puts fresh beans on your table in September. Cooler September temperatures bring a sweetness and tenderness to the pods that summer beans rarely match. The sugars develop differently when the plant isn't fighting heat. The single thing that makes or breaks July bean germination: keeping the seed moist until it sprouts. July heat dries the top inch of soil within hours of watering on a hot afternoon. A thin layer of straw mulch over the seeded row holds that surface moisture through the heat of the day. Check once daily. The moment seedlings break through, pull the mulch back slightly to give them light. That one habit is the difference between a July bean planting that comes up reliably and one that never quite does. Number 4. Kale. Kale planted in July becomes a different vegetable by October. When temperatures drop below freezing, the plant converts stored starches into sugars, a cold response it has developed over centuries. The leaves that come after a frost are measurably sweeter, more tender, and milder than anything the same plant produced in August. This is why farmers market kale in November sells out while the summer supply sits. It is genuinely not the same food. The summer heat between now and October doesn't bother kale much. It handles temperatures that wilt most other vegetables without slowing production. Plant it now, let it grow through the summer, and then October arrives and turns it into the best thing in your garden. Lacinato, also called dinosaur kale, and Red Russian are the two varieties most consistently recommended for that fall sweetness. Harvest outer leaves and leave the center intact. One plant keeps producing through November and into December in mild climates. Number 5. Lettuce. Lettuce has a natural limit. When air temperatures consistently push past 80 degrees, most varieties shift from making leaves to sending up a flower stalk. The leaves flood with bitter compounds. The plant is done for the season. The solution that actually works isn't a special seed or a cold frame. It's shade. Lettuce planted where it gets afternoon shade, under a tomato cage, tucked alongside a taller crop, against a fence that blocks western sun, experiences soil temperatures 10 to 15 degrees cooler than lettuce baking in full exposure. That buffer is often enough to keep the plant producing leaves instead of bolting. At most garden centers right now, seed packets labeled slow bolt or heat tolerant are easy to find. These are bred specifically to hold up longer in summer conditions. Plant in a shaded spot, choose one of those varieties, and harvest the outer leaves while leaving the center. The plant keeps pushing new leaves from the inside out for weeks. If this is useful, subscribe. New videos on growing more food in less space every week. Now back to the list. Number 6. Swiss chard. While spinach bolts and lettuce gives up, Swiss chard just keeps going. It handles summer heat better than almost any other leafy green available to American home gardeners, and it handles the first light frosts of fall without flinching. One planting bridges the entire gap from now through autumn. Something most people figure out only after growing their own. The leaves and stems are two separate ingredients. The leaves wilt quickly in a hot pan, done in under 2 minutes, almost exactly like spinach. The stems need 4 or 5 more minutes on their own. Separate them at harvest, cook the stems first, add the leaves at the end. You get 2 distinct textures from one cutting. The rainbow variety, stems in deep red, bright yellow, orange, and white, is genuinely one of the most visually striking vegetables you can grow in a summer garden. Plant it now and it keeps producing through November. Number 7. Beets. Most Americans have only eaten beets from a can. That experience, sweet but slightly metallic, uniformly soft, has almost nothing in common with a beet pulled fresh from the ground and roasted the same day. July planted beets take 55 to 70 days to mature, which puts the harvest in late September and October. By then, cool nights have naturally sweetened the roots in a way that just doesn't happen during summer maturation. The harvest window matters more than most people realize. Pull beets when the shoulder of the root, the top portion visible at the soil surface, measures 2 to 3 inches across. Past that point, texture becomes woody and the sweetness fades noticeably. The window is real and it closes faster than expected, so keep track of your planting date. Chioggia beets, the Italian variety with pink and white concentric rings inside, are worth seeking out specifically for the fall harvest. Cut one open and it looks like something out of a food magazine. They taste as good as they look when they come in at the right size. Number 8. Arugula. Pre-packaged arugula at the grocery store has already lost most of what makes it worth buying. Arugula starts losing its volatile compounds, the ones responsible for its peppery bite, within 24 to 48 hours of harvest. By the time it reaches a shelf, most of that flavor is gone. What's left is flat and slightly bitter in a way that gives people an inaccurate idea of what arugula actually tastes like. Fresh arugula, cut and eaten the same day, has a bright, clean pepper quality with a slight nuttiness underneath. That combination disappears almost immediately after harvest, which is why growing your own changes the experience completely. For July, harvest small. Baby arugula at 2 to 3 inches is mild, bright, and easy to work with. Full-size mature leaves are intensely peppery and can overwhelm most dishes. Harvest at 21 to 25 days, cut with scissors and leave the roots. New leaves grow back from the base in 10 to 12 days. Plant a small patch every 2 weeks, and you have continuous mild arugula from late summer through fall. Number 9. Turnips. Turnips have a reputation problem in America, and it comes almost entirely from one thing. Most people have only eaten large, old turnips. A turnip left in the ground too long becomes starchy, fibrous, and sharp in a way that's hard to enjoy. Pull one at golf ball size, roughly 2 inches across, and it's a different vegetable. Mild, slightly sweet, crisp enough to eat raw, closer in texture to a radish than to what most people picture when they hear the word turnip. And that's before considering the greens. Turnip tops are edible from around day 30. a full 2 to 3 weeks before the roots are ready. They cook exactly like mustard greens, slightly peppery and tender. 1 packet of seeds, 1 planting, 2 separate harvests at 2 different times. Hakare, the Japanese salad turnip, is the variety that has converted more turnip skeptics than anything else available right now. Smooth, white, genuinely mild raw. Available from specialty seed suppliers and online. Plant now for greens in early September and roots through October. Number 10. Scallions. Everything else on this list takes 40 to 100 days. Scallions are ready in 60, and some baby harvests come even earlier than that. Push seeds into July soil today. Sprouts in 7 to 10 days. Scallions ready to cut in about 2 months. They don't need much space. A 6-inch strip along the edge of a bed holds enough to supply a kitchen consistently for months. The harvest method most people skip. Don't pull the whole plant. Snip the green tops with scissors about an inch above the soil surface